is Nets Malin, and welcome to a Kwanzaa 365, a 7-day celebration for a year-long practice.
Hi, my name is Kenya K. Stevens, and I'm CEO of the Progressive Love Academy. The first time I ever did Kwanzaa, it was my father taking me to a Kwanzaa party. Ever since, for 20 years since, I've wondered why is there nothing about Kwanzaa on national television? This is a huge holiday where we utilize symbols to talk to us and speak to us as a culture, as an African American culture, about what we want to achieve. The first principle of Kwanzaa is Umoja, or unity. Everything on a Kwanzaa table symbolizes the meanings of those words as well. Mazao is a harvest. Remember, we learned about these in elementary school? We learned about these because the indigenous persons of this country utilize this same symbolism to talk about unity, to talk about the strength of the community. So the first thing we did when I went to Kwanzaa with my dad is that we poured libation, and this is something that I had never done at that time, but it taught me about parts of my culture that I did not learn in school. For instance, that prayer, libation, and the use of principles, candles, and altars is a part of my cultural heritage. So Kwanzaa is an excellent way to introduce everyone to these principles, to these practices, and we're going to start tonight with libation. Libation is a song and a prayer that we give to the ancestors, to the ones who have come before us. Some people call this the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the great-grandmothers. We're always in thanks for those who've come before us because they've taught us and brought us to where we are today. Neter itaim was keferonk. We are so thankful and grateful for unity, that which connects all things and all beings. We're so thankful and grateful for the interconnectedness of all life. We're so thankful and grateful that we can affect each other, support each other, interact with each other. We're so thankful and grateful to have one another. Unity is that which bonds us together. Unity is love, and we call it forth for our ceremony tonight. We banged 3 times. I didn't learn that until I really went to a Kwanzaa festival. These techniques, these practices are something that unify us as a group when we practice them, and it's definitely something that more African Americans should be aware of. The first thing that we do after we pour libation is we come to our candles, and we're going to light the Umoja candle, which is the one in the center. This is the black candle, and it symbolizes unity of people from the motherland, Africa. But everyone is from the motherland. We are all find our roots in Africa. So this is a really important candle for me personally. I'm going to light it, and we're going to do a prayer to the actual energy of unity. Umoja. Swahili word for unity. We call forth unity into 2021 and beyond. We're so thankful and grateful to experience connection. Typically, when I would go to these Kwanzaa ceremonies with my father, there would be a whole room full of people focused upon this one black candle, Umoja, and it did, for me as a little girl, bring me closer to that feeling of connection and community. I think it's a really important ritual, and this is the first night of Kwanzaa, Umoja. Kwanzaa 365, a 7-day celebration for a year-long practice.
We just lit candles with Kenya Stevens and gave praises. And now, if you will, at home, stand up and get ready to sing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, sung by Lita Lyric Jones.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Hi, how you doing? I hope you're enjoying the program. My name is Nets Malin, and this is a Kwanzaa 365, a 7-day celebration for a year-long practice.
So my name is Daniel Suber. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm bringing unity to you. This is Umoja. This is something special that's near and dear to the heart of every person on this planet when we realize it, and it will make things so much easier if we are all embracing unity. What more things could be accomplished in those worlds if we weren't focusing on being against each other? We're struggling like this, but what if instead we were all moving like this? And then every now and then we were even holding hands as we were going up. It would make things a little bit easier if we didn't have to worry about the next person so much. So what can we do? Unity is the key. Unity is the answer. And the thing is, it can start out with friends. It can start out with family. It can start out with a business. It can start out with an organization. It can start with a network. Wherever it starts, it's important from there. So unity, I ask you, what does it take to truly work together? I believe in you and me. We can make this better. Let me tell you, all my life been wondering, thinking, what does it take to get black voices together, thundering, making this world shake? This is love for me. This is unity. Doesn't make us the same. We're still you and me. Watching your every example, yeah, I got your back. And I'm here for my people. We eliminate lack. This is unity. Together we can do it, and that's the only way. It takes work, it takes time, it takes connection, it takes listening, it takes forgiveness, it takes building values together, but all in all, it's worth it. So my name is Daniel Suber, coming at you here from Asheville, North Carolina. This has been Kwanzaa 365, a 7-day celebration for a year-long practice. Thank you, let's do it.
You're enjoying yourself there at home. I know we're enjoying ourselves here. And so now let's take a moment with the elder Alexander Ravenel.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon. I am honored to be with you today for Kwanzaa 365, which is a 7-day celebration for a year-round practice. And the first principle is Umoja, which represents unity. And according to the mandates at its creation, it is to strive for and maintain unity within the family, community, the nation, and the race. And as this is a moment of the elder, I will refer to those who are my elder as well, so that we might be consistent throughout the generations of directions that we've been given with regard to our personal, individual, and collective liberation. I would like to begin with a story regarding my own father, who was the single most powerful influence in my life. He used to take me everywhere with him, particularly when he was taking care of business. And one day while taking care of business, I found myself down on the floor. Didn't know how I got there. But I got up very quickly because every day was an experience with my father that is indelibly impressed upon my consciousness. And the second time I was down on the floor, I know how I got there because he pushed me there. And as I was slow in getting up, he came over to me and lightly kicked me with his feet. And he said, "Boy, do you live there?" And I said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, get up." So I quickly got up, and he came over to me and he says, "Now listen to me. This store may belong to Mr. Edwards, but that space that you stand on is yours. You have a historical space, you have a spiritual space, you have a social space, you have a personal space, you got an individual space. It's your space, and no one has a right to it without your permission. Do you understand me, boy?" "Yes, sir." And then he pushed me, and I stood strong as I could, and he stepped away saying, "I'm proud of you." Now, as it regards this first principle, unity must take place within the individual first. And then you have the makings for a collective when everyone has and are expressing their own autonomy. And thereby you have the essentials necessary to maintain unity among yourself, because you've achieved that within your own God self. And of course, that is the foundation for the family, which is the foundation for the community, which is the foundation for the nation, which from whom the races. Of course, in 1966, it's race there, but a lot has happened since 1966. And we can all be proud of ourselves if we recognize the truth of who we are in relationship to the fact that there is in truth only one race, and that is the one blood out of whom all nations were made. So once we've come to that place, then we begin to accentuate our unity, and whatever the desires are of the community becomes the collective concern of each person and the community. And thereby, as Maya Angelou wrote some years ago, you have the makings of each one teaching one, because each one has attained an individuality that they can identify as their personal I am. So it is about consciousness, and as life is about consciousness, and unity reigns in the mind of those who have a positive image of themselves. And that image, from my perspective, and of course, while I was a religious person, I know not too much am, but still the Bible is a book of instructions for me. And so therefore, I do accept the fact that I am, and of course you are, notwithstanding your awareness of it are not, made in the image, after the likeness of God, therefore God of your own experience. And when you become God of your own experience, you become mindful. You become mindful of what you feel, you become mindful of what your neighbor feel, and then thereby your neighbor is no longer identified by any external factors, but your neighbor becomes recognized in the heart, because you've achieved that level of unity within yourself, which thereby becomes the supporting factor in your interaction with all persons, because notwithstanding your disposition, your attitude, your awareness, your understanding, or your lack of knowledge, everyone is going to reap what they sow. And since everyone is going to reap what they sow, unification, coming together in unity, gives you the foundation, the assured foundation of reaping what you've determined by your unification to sow for the benefit of all persons. And thereby, not only are you loving yourself, because you're unified within your own self-identity, but you're also loving your fellow man. And so thereby, what do you have? Except that which assures the success of everyone. And so therefore, that negates any probability of failure, because actually there's only one mind, and that mind is God mind, which is the mind that you're called upon to have within yourself. And that is a consciousness of your I amness. When I was a boy, as it regards people of my hue, we had unity in our community. Everyone raised a child. Everyone disciplined the child. Our leaders, our doctors, our preachers, our teachers, all community leaders lived within the community And very few of them moved out of the ramifications of the ideals that were set for the community. And when they did, they only did it once because they were dealt with properly. So when we talk about unity, we're talking about the unity of the whole of the community. And so I understand this time for us as a people with my hue, going back to the beginning and the necessity for identifying ourselves and our place in this experience called North America. I believe from my experience, as I was one who vehemently felt hate for a long period of time, I believe that we move beyond that time when we can think of the race as a collective. And so that collective being unified for the purpose of accentuating a common goal, it's impossible to lose. You have a guaranteed win. It's absolute. It's definite. Thank you. This is Kwanzaa 365, a 7-day celebration for a year-round practice. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you, talking with you, being with you tomorrow.
Kwanzaa is a joyous time of year, and to celebrate that, we are going to have a musical rendition from one of my favorite artists. Enjoy.
This is called Ode to Paco. Most people are gone. Then we let our hair down.
present stands on the shoulders of the past, and how a call to action can stimulate a crowd into doing something more than they thought was able to be done. So right now, we are going to join Michael Hayes as he presents a past, present, future call to action.
My name is Michael Hayes, and I'm the Executive Director of the Umoja Health, Wellness, and Justice Collective here in Asheville, North Carolina. Today we're here to celebrate Kwanzaa, or should I say, nguzosaba of Kwanzaa. That is the 7 principles. This is a 7-day celebration for a year-round practice, meaning we want to practice these principles all year long. We're here at the ymiculturalcenter in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was established in 1892. Which makes it one of the oldest historically black-ran institutions in the United States. We're celebrating Kwanzaa, and we're going to go over nguzosaba, which is the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The first principle we're going to start with is Umoja, which means unity. And that principle is to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. There was a time not too long ago that Umoja was the backbone and the cornerstone of the black community. Since before the civil rights movement, Umoja was the backbone of the community. We did everything together. Even if you go back more than 400 years ago, when African descendants were kidnapped and enslaved, even at that time, Umoja stood strong as the cornerstone of our community. If we go to the times of the civil rights movement, the students were the cornerstone of that civil rights movement, but it wasn't just one student. There were a whole lot of students that approached the members of churches and said, listen, we are tired of the things that are going on. But the only thing we can change these things that are going on when we're talking about oppression, when we're talking about racism, when we're talking about just the unequal treatment of a community of people, they said the only way we can make this move is if we have your blessing and we have your participation. Mostly every movement that has been revolutionary was started by young people. And that was way back in the day. So now we're talking civil rights movement, started by young people. They said we had to do this together. So the progress of the civil rights movement would not have happened if it wasn't for Umoja. It was a unified approach that allowed those things to be changed. And now when we talk about present day, for some reason, you only live once, or you got to get yours, you got to get mine, or you got to get yours and I've got to get mine has become the slogan. We have never been designed to do anything by ourselves. As I recall a story that my father told me, back in the tribal days when we were all a part of that great continent in Africa, there were tribes that if one person in the tribe was to break a rule of the tribe, they weren't cast out and forgotten about. They were actually given to another tribe, and for a certain amount of time, they acted out in servitude, and then they were allowed to come back to the tribe after a certain amount of time. But all the tribes are unified in this understanding that servitude, they finish out their time, and they come back to the tribe, to the community. It was all done on one accord in unity. As we look at our lives today, right now, since the murder of George Floyd, there has been a transition, so to speak, of us going back to what Umoja means for us. What does Umoja mean? It is unity. And the only way that the voices were heard was that there was a unification of many races, many people from different socioeconomic statuses, genders. There was just everybody, there was a coming together of everyone in the sense of Umoja. That's how things were able to change. Now we're at a precedent right now that we have never been at before. Right now we're celebrating Kwanzaa, the 7-day celebration for a year-round practice. Right now we're celebrating right now with the purpose that we've waited for so long. We're celebrating with a purpose and understanding that with Umoja, we can overcome all things. We can challenge all things. And it's a must that we do this now, because as I look over and I have my 7- and 8-year-old son sitting with me, Our future depends on us coming together. Our future depends on Umoja being the cornerstone of our communities. We cannot move ahead unless we're unified. There's something that we say at the Umoja Health, Wellness, and Justice Collective. We say that we have been collectively enslaved. We have been collectively oppressed. We have been collectively traumatized. Now we're at a place that we can collectively heal. Umoja, meaning unity, is us moving together. It's us striving for and maintaining unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So remember, Umoja, that is our first principle of Kwanzaa. Umoja means unity. And remember, this is a 7-day celebration for a year-round practice. My name is Michael Hayes here in Asheville, North Carolina, at the world-famous ymiculturalcenter. Thank you all for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Rakim Sekou with Capital Awareness and Kwanzaa 365. Hopefully you've enjoyed our first principle of Kwanzaa, Umoja, unity. Unity of family, unity of community, bringing us all together to practice these principles and benefit as a collective. I'd like to thank some of the people that made this project possible. Hamilton Media Design, Michael Hayes, Umoja Collective, Aaron Oliver, Social Media Director, Angela Clemens, LLC, Daniel Suber, and Kenya K. Stevens with the Progressive Love Academy.
I am Nets Malin, and on behalf of the ymiculturalcenter, we'd like to thank you for tuning in once again to the first day of Kwanzaa 365. Umoja, unity, meaning coming together to do what we need to do together to get to where we need to be. I'd like to take this time to thank a few people who helped make this program possible. Dewana Little, the Executive Director of the ymiculturalcenter and the YMI Board of Directors. Kai Linzian. I also would like to thank Lita Lyric Jones, Elder Alexander Ravenel, Kevin Spears and Shinobi. I also would like to thank Theodore Philson, the YMI Building Manager, and Sonia Bruton, SB Catering.
Habari gani? Umoja. Umoja is the first principle of Kwanzaa. Umoja means unity. We strive for unity within our family, our friendships, our community, our village, our city, our nation, and our country. And as a human, we should be united in one. Blessed love. I am Ja Daniel on behalf of Capital Awareness and Kwanzaa 365. I would like to wish you and your family and loved ones a happy and blessed Kwanzaa. I have a few people that I would like to give special thanks to. That is Virtuous, Denise Carter, Spaceman Jones, Jamar Woods, Brothers in Christ, and Tonia Plummer, the YMI Operations Manager. So at the end of every night of Kwanzaa, we have a ritual where we chant Harambe, and I need you guys to do it with me. Everybody who's watching at home, we need your participation. Reach as high as you can, and we're going to pull in energy from the universe, and we're going to chant Harambe 7 times. Harambe, 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 Harambe,